Welcome back to the AAA MF YouTube channel. We have amazing weather in the UK today, so we thought we'd bring out two very special cars to film. We have the original 911 GT3 Touring 991.2 model. This model has been so popular that it's now fetching close to £250,000 in the UK, which is absolutely insane. However, the new 911 GT3 Touring, the 992 model, lists at 150, but is also fetching £250,000 as well, £100,000 premium. Now, this was the first time that Porsche released the GT3 without the rear wing, and it became really popular because a lot of people didn't like driving around with this huge wing on the back, especially if they were driving it as a daily car. And this one has also been hugely popular. I personally know someone that swapped their GT3 992 for a Touring because they just wanted something a little bit more subtle for everyday use. However, this is the first time Porsche have offered the GT3 Touring with a 7-speed PDK gearbox. So essentially, they're making this even more accessible to people that want to use it as a daily driver. Now, what is going to be the difference between the two cars? Well, you can see this one doesn't have the huge rear diffuser that the new model has. This one has an enormous rear diffuser, and believe it or not, the new 992 GT3 Touring has the same downforce as the fixed wing, which is pretty special. So there's actually no difference between buying a GT3 and a GT3 Touring in terms of downforce. Does adding a PDK gearbox detract or enhance the driving experience? So let's see what it's like to drive the latest 992 GT3 Touring against the 991.2 GT3 Touring. Is this going to be a better daily driver, and has it lost some of that rawness that you got in the 991.2 GT3 Touring, which is so popular now? Come and join us. Welcome to the 991.2 GT3 Touring. What a lovely car. This is owned by my friend Ellie. Go and follow him. Put his Instagram on the page now. Now, this is not a standard 911 GT3 Touring. This has a full aftermarket exhaust and a lovely short shift gearbox. So Ellie bought the parts in the US for £400 and had JZM fit them, and it really transforms the experience of changing gears. This car sounds absolutely phenomenal. So we featured this in a previous video against the 911R. You can watch that on the channel. This is a limited edition model from Porsche, which is one of the reasons why the car is now fetching £250,000. And I thought it'd be really interesting to put this up against the new model, given that they're now both in that stratosphere of £250,000 for a 911 GT3. The new model is about £100,000 over list price, and apparently they're going to keep producing them for like 2 or 3 years, so it's not going to be a limited edition run. So there is potential in the future for prices, I guess, to drop, and it'll be interesting to see what prices do compared to the old model. My old model. So first of all, PDK gearbox. It is seamless change of gears. So let's go into third gear and plant the throttle. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so it's extremely fast, and the PDK gearbox is really lovely, and it's really easy to use. The paddles behind the steering wheel are absolutely tiny. I do not like them. I'm sure you can get an aftermarket paddle which is much longer. I don't know why Porsche put these tiny little paddles on, because I like using the paddles when I'm driving with PDK. I like changing on the paddles, so please put longer paddles on Porsche. This definitely needs an aftermarket exhaust. It's too quiet, but then some people will like the fact that it's quiet. So the other big difference is the suspension, and it is absolutely transformational. It is so direct with the multi-link suspension. Oh, that gearbox, that power delivery. Whoa. It's ridiculous. I mean, the other car is fast, but doesn't compare to this. Does not compare in terms of the pickup. So the suspension is really direct, exactly what I said when I reviewed the 992 GT3 with the manual box that's on the channel. The suspension is just got so much sharpness to it. I'm going to say it hasn't got feel to it, because it takes away a little bit of the feel having it so direct. It feels like a race car. You get a little bit more feeling through the old steering. Again, personal preference. My guess is that a lot of people jumping in to a 992 GT3 Touring are driving a GT product for the first time, and that is the case with this car. My friend Ted, this is his first GT product, and the reason is because it's just such an easy car to drive. Got no rear spoiler, and it's got the PDK gearbox. It just makes it a very, very easy car to jump in and drive. You don't have to be a great driver to drive it, but if you are a great driver, you can really push it and get a lot out of it. So it's just got, as I said, that mass appeal. So PDK gearbox is great and much better for daily use. The suspension is much sharper. Whether that makes it a better car to drive, I don't know. And the looks. Now the looks obviously are subjective. I think that the little vents at the front of the 992 GT3 Touring just look perfect. They just give it a little bit more aggression at the front. And this car is obviously a bigger car and looks a little bit more muscly compared to the older one. But I like both of them. I like both of them. Big thank you to my sponsor Magnitude Finance. If you're looking to finance a car for £25,000 and over and you live in the UK, give them a call. Go on to the Magnitude Finance calculator, see your monthly repayments, and if you need PPF on any of your cars, go to NVN. I've driven both of these cars today quite a lot, and I've obviously driven this old version in a previous video against the 911R, so I've had a lot of time in both of these cars. And my thought is this: they actually are not comparable anymore. They are so different to drive that you can't compare them. Porsche have moved the game on. There's no doubt about it. This is a better car. The suspension is absolutely incredible. I'm driving over horrible B roads in the UK and it just soaks up all of the bumps. You could take this car onto a track and it would perform incredibly well on a track. So you could basically use it all day long, take it to a track, drive it home. It has so much appeal and so much ability that you could do both. The problem with that is that it doesn't feel as involving as the older car, and it's not as noisy as the older car, and the manual gearbox still does add an extra feel to the car, an extra dimension that you can't get with the PDK gearbox. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this comparison. Thanks again to the two owners, Magnitude, NVN, and my cameraman Mark, who got up early as well this morning, and Jack, who's done the lovely photographs. We'll see you soon.